Located at eastern South America, bordering the Atlantic Ocean, Brazil is the largest country in Latin America. It is the fifth largest country in the world in terms of area as well as population. The name Brazil comes from a tree named Brazil wood. Portugal claimed the land in Brazil in the year 1500. Characterized by large and well-developed agriculture, mining, manufacturing, and service sectors, Brazil has the eighth largest economy in the world. Native Brazilian flora was originally shunned because there was a lot of emphasis on European influence, and so therefore the plant palette was limited to what was being imported. Gardens were arranged in formal borders with little originality. The agriculture of Brazil is historically one of the principal bases of Brazil's economy. While its initial focus was on sugarcane, Brazil eventually became the world's largest exporter of coffee, soybeans, beef, and crop-based ethanol. It's impossible to think of gardens in Brazil and modern garden design around the world without the extraordinary influence of Roberto Burle Marx. His eye for pattern, color, and also his country's unique indigenous flora radically changed the very Eurocentric Portuguese and French garden styles that had dominated South American gardens since the arrival of European settlers. Roberto Burle Marx took traditional garden elements and reinterpreted them into highly original styles. The climate of Brazil technically covers 5 different zones, but it is mostly tropical, with some areas of equatorial rainforest in the high western regions and some temperate regions further south. The typical daily temperature range is 73 to 88 degrees Fahrenheit. Brazil is second only to Indonesia as the country with the most endemic species, such as magnolia and other various types of species. With Brazil having the single largest flora in the world, it is known for its bright, vibrant, and colorful flowers, such as the orange tropical flowers, Camellia rosa, begonias, and orchids, with the Crocus orchid as the national flower of Brazil.
This is Roberto Burle Marx. He is a famous Brazilian landscape architect. He's also an artist, painter, musician, and naturalist. He became famous for his park and garden designs. Some common themes in these designs are waterworks, serpentine patterns, and circular patterns. Marx studied in Germany during his early life and was influenced by the botanical gardens there. He was also not a plant snob. He did not care if it was a rare or common plant. He only cared about the overall image of the garden. I will now go over some of the places he's designed. First, Flamengo Park. This is a large Brazilian park on 296 acres. It's built over top of a landfill, and it covers what was once an environmental hazard and eyesore. It was designed to be a place for community and contains many recreational sport facilities. And circular patterns are a very common theme in this garden, as you can see, and the aerial view demonstrates that very well. If you are looking for a Brazilian garden near you, you should visit the Cascade Gardens at Longwood Gardens in Pennsylvania. It's only about 30 minutes away from campus. This is another design by Marx. It's 2,000 square feet and shows off Marx's use of water in his designs. Experience a taste of Brazil's gardens right here in the States. Finally, he designed the garden at Inhotim Institute. This is part of Brazilian government's official botanical garden program. It's the only place in Latin America to have the carrion flower, which is native to Asia. Finally, it has a reflective pond and relates to what we talked about in class as a place for people to gather.
Roberto has created many beautiful gardens. Some of the significant plants he used were Brazilian orchids, palms, water lilies, heliconias, roheo, and bromeliads. Brazilian orchids are very popular in Brazilian gardens, as seen in the Jardim Botanico. This garden has 8,000 plant species, including 600 different species of orchids. There is also a lake there that contains the huge Victoria Regia water lilies.
The Amazon rainforest is known for its rich biodiversity, but few realize that its natural wealth goes far deeper than just the animals and the beautiful flora. The rare plants of the Amazon not only create a unique natural environment, but have been used by ancient civilizations and are still being used today for their powerful medicinal properties. From anxiety and infertility to cancer and AIDS, these medicinal plants have long been used to heal all of humankind's ailments. And we've likely only discovered a small percentage of them.
So how do people interact with plants? In Brazil, the local people really like plants. In World Cup 2040 opening ceremony, some people dressed as raindrops run past the camera. All the Brazilians willing take part on the festive occasions and greet their friends and relatives with beautiful Brazilian flowers like rose, oats are very popular for gifting purposes. Generally, the garden has a lot of functions for people to use because its beauty and fantastic design. People use the garden depending on diversified purpose. Some people use the garden to cultivate themselves. Some people use the garden for more people coming to make money, and some of the garden even have the vital role in the pact of academic exchange. The most common use for garden is for people to look at and to romanticize our nature world. Burle Marx Garden, designed by one of the most famous landscape architects, Burle Marx. They are planted with many kinds of colorful shrubs, trees, and flowers in diversified patterns like mosaic,